Okay, so we talked about dilations in the last video. Now let's do a couple of examples. What you need to do if you haven't done so is you need to print this worksheet off. There is a front and a back. On the website it'll be two different pages. Print it off and then bring it back to this video and work with me through these examples. And then when we're done the examples, I'll have you finish the rest of the worksheet and bring it to class for a notebook grade. All right. Now, questions 1, 2, and 3 all can be answered from these notes from the original, the first video where I had this paper out. Go ahead and answer those and see if you get the right answers. We'll go over these in class or on another day. So answer those on your own. What I want to do is look at number 4. All right. And number 4, it says to graph the dilated image of the triangle. Let me pull this up here a little closer so you can see it. Says to graph the dilated image of the triangle JKL using a scale factor of 2 and 0, 0 as the center of dilation. All right. So as we said in the last video, in this red part here, these steps only work if you're dilating around the origin. And in this problem, we are dilating around 0, 0, which is the origin. Okay. So first step, if you remember, it says to write down the coordinates of the original figure, and they give you a place right here to do that. So let's get the coordinates of J, K, and L first. So if you look on the graph, J is up here at the top. To get to J from the origin, we have to go over 1, 2. So our X coordinate is going to be 2. And then to get up to J, we have to go up 1, 2, 3, 4. So your coordinate for J is 2, 4. All right. The coordinates for K, we do the same way. Coming from the origin, you have to go over 1, and then you have to go up 1. So your coordinates there are 1, 1. And then the final one is L. You have to go over 1, 2, 3, 4. So your X coordinate is 4. And you go up 0, and it's sitting on the X axis, so your coordinate there is going to be 4, 0. All right? All right, so that's step 1. Step 2 is to multiply each coordinate by the scale factor. All right, in this problem, they give us a scale factor equal to 2. So basically, what we're going to do is multiply all these coordinates by 2, and we're going to multiply both the x and the y coordinate. So for J prime, our new image would be 2 times 2 is 4, and then 4 times 2 is 8. So our newly dilated image is at the coordinate points 4, 8. To multiply 1, 1, we're going to take the x coordinate times 2. So 1 times 2 is 2. And then the y coordinate times 2. So 1 times 2 is also 2. And then the final one is to multiply the L here by 2. 4 times 2 is 8. 0 times 2 is still 0. Okay? And then the final step for this worksheet anyway is to graph the new figure. So we're going to take our dilated image here, a J prime, K prime, and L prime, and we're going to plot it on this coordinate grid. So your J prime is at 4, 8, so we got to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we got to go up 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So here's J prime. All right. Graph K prime is over 2 and up 2. 1, 2. And there's our K prime. And then for L prime, we've got to go over 8 and up 0. So it's sitting right here on this line. And we can connect the dots. And it's going to make that same shape. It's just going to be much bigger. All right. So that's what dilating an image will do. It's going to take a shape and make it either bigger or smaller. All right. I think since we did number 4, you can do number 5 on your own. It's going to be done the same way, except you have a scale factor of 3. So pull the coordinates there and put them down, and then do M prime, N prime, O prime, and P prime on your own and graph it. All right. Same thing with 6 and 7. Notice that in 6 and 7 you have scale factors that are not nice whole numbers, so you might get coordinates that are not going to be nice whole numbers. That's possible. I'm not saying it's true. I don't know the answers here, but it is possible you could get coordinates that aren't whole numbers, so just be aware of that. All right, let's look at number 8. Number 8's a little different. What they've done here, and we'll pull it up here so you can see it. says to describe the dilation of quadrilateral, that's a four-sided figure, MNOP, using the origin as the center. All right, so we're still using the origin as the center. Instead of telling us to dilate the image with a scale factor, what they want us to do is figure out what the scale factor was. They've given us the original image. Notice the original image is the ones without the little prime mark above them. So the original image is actually this big quadrilateral here, and then the dilated image here is much smaller. Okay, so what they've done is shrunk it. And if you remember our little rules over here for scale factors, to make it smaller, the scale factor has to be less than 1. So we can actually predict that our scale factor is going to be less than 1 here. And the easiest way to do that is to get the coordinates of one of these points. You don't have to do all 4, but you can do more than one to check your work if you'd like. All you have to do is get the coordinates of one of these points. So the coordinates of M is over 1, 2, 3, and then up 1, 2, 3. So it's 3, 3. And then the coordinates of M prime are over 1, up 1. All right. And if you want to check just one other point, let's get the coordinates for P here. The coordinates for P, we have to come from 0 over to -6. So our x is -6, and then you've got to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Your P prime is -2, and then up 2. And if you look at these two sets of points here, you can very quickly see in this one what the scale factor is going to be. You've had to take your original M, your original coordinate, and you have to divide it by 3 to get your M prime. So what you're doing is you're dividing by 3, and a way to write that, instead of saying divide by 3, which is perfectly legitimate, you can say you divided by your scale factor. With your scale factor, you divided by 3. You could write it that way. But another way of saying divide by 3 would be to multiply by a third. All right. So your scale factor here, and this is the description. Your scale factor in this case is 1/3. All right. So that's the dilation, and we dilated around the origin. But as you can see, we had to divide both of these points by 3. And if you pulled off O and N, you're going to find the same thing, that basically you had to divide it by 3. If you have any questions on that, bring it to class.